Hello world of YouTube, and welcome to another Carversation, a show where I talk about things in my car, use this kind of a soapbox, and present you guys with a topic to discuss. We can carry a conversation in the comments down below. Let's talk about 2020. It's a new year, dawn of a new decade, and with it, we're gonna get a bunch of art. I'm gonna talk about some of my favorite, not only albums and artists that I wish would release material. We're gonna do the same with movies and games, because it's what I do. I talk about those three things. Now, like last year, I talked a bit about albums specifically that I'm anticipating, stuff that I'm excited for, and a lot of those excitements paid off harmoniously. So let's see if 2020 is going to have a similar theme to it. I realized I'm eating breakfast and I'm fucking starving. So with announced projects, there's a couple of artists that are going to be releasing things that I'm excited to see what they do with. The Killers is one of them. They announced an album and I liked Wonderful Wonderful. I hope that this album kind of not necessarily builds upon that, but presents more of that type of Killers, because they had a great balance of fun and serious tracks that I really enjoyed about Wonderful Wonderful. It's not my favorite record of theirs, but it was a great fucking album that came out in the year that it did, and it had some of the tightest grooves the band has ever made. There's some really good shit. I'm hoping that they build upon that well. Caroline Rose recently announced that she's dropping a new project, and y'all know I loved her album that dropped the year that it did, and I'm excited for this new project. I hope that it also kicks a tremendous amount of ass. Gevellertak are dropping a new album this year, and I think they're one of the most consistent, gritty, raw bands still doing it. I loved their last record and really a lot of their output as a whole, and I'm hoping that this is just another great record by them. RTJ4 is happening this year. Y'all know I love me some RTJ, and they keep saying that this is the hardest record they've ever done, and I'm excited to hear what the fuck that sounds like, because LP and Killer Mike are not dudes to bullshit people. So if they genuinely are this proud of it, I can only imagine what cool shit they bring together. Weezer, you know, I may have been lukewarm to black and to teal as a concept, but I'm hoping Van Weezer is more fun. I've heard the lead single, obviously, and I like it. It sounds more fun, and if Weezer want to make a Van Halen record, why the fuck not? I think that'd be fun. Maybe. Hate the album cover, but I'm excited for the album. And then the last confirmed album that I'm going to be talking about as far as a title, Left at London. She's dropping her debut album, You Are Not Alone Enough. I've loved her EPs. I've loved a lot of what she's setting herself up for as an artist, and I hope that it comes through on her debut, personally. Bands that are in the studio, or conceivably in the studio, Idols, they've confirmed they're working on a third album, and man, do I hope that that's good. I'm really fucking hyped for that. The Weeknd has been dropping music, so I'm hoping that's going to lead to an album, because I like the songs he's dropped, and I've been ready for a new Weeknd record for a while. I like the 1-2 punch of Beating Behind the Madness and Starboy. I think they're both solid records, and I'd love to see what he has next. Daft Punk, speaking of Starboy, haven't dropped anything in a while, and the last time they were really in the public zeitgeist was with The Weeknd, so I want new Daft Punk. Please, let's ring the decade right. Frank Ocean, because again, it's been a long while since Frank's dropped anything. Blonde seems like a distant memory at this point, and while he's been doing all these weird experimental releases, flaming lip style, I want a new project. Frank, come on, man. Finally, the Proto Men, Act 3, please. It's been 10 years. As for movies I really want to see, Tenet, the new Christopher Nolan project. When I saw Star Wars in IMAX, they played a prologue to the film, and it looked fucking cool. A lot of the action looked well directed. It almost reminded me of Rainbow Six, the prologue did. I doubt the movie's gonna feel that way, but it was really fucking cool. I liked it a lot. and it got me really excited for it immediately because I hadn't seen any of the trailers or anything. Quiet Place 2, I liked Quiet Place 1. I like the trailer for A Quiet Place 2. Makes me excited. I love Cillian Murphy, and I am stoked to see him in that film. Dune, because I love Denis Villeneuve, and I like Dune. The book, well, not necessarily, but I haven't read the book, but as you guys may have seen my Sega Genesis list, I love at least the world of Dune, as I like the whole aspect of the world, I should say, because all I know about it is harvesting spices and waging war, RTS style. But I think Denis Villeneuve will give the film the scope it deserves, because I know that, like, them worms would look so dope through his eyes, in my opinion. DC also coming out with some interesting films this year. They got Wonder Woman 1984 dropping, and I am pretty stoked for that. I thought the first film was pretty solid. I like Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, and I want to see what they do with her in 1984. While it probably still won't be good, I'm excited to see Sonic. I'll go see it because they redesigned him, and he looks better than he did. I like Jim Carrey, so, you know, I'm excited to see that happen. Again, I'm sure it'll be terrible, but hey, that's kind of par for the course for Sonic the Hedgehog, or for video game movies in general, and also Sonic the Hedgehog. Sonic the Hedgehog is one of the most inconsistent properties that I love dearly. Bill and Ted Face the Music is coming out this year. I like the first two Bill and Ted movies. I think they're fun in their own way. And I love Keanu Reeves. I'll watch anything with Keanu Reeves in it at least once, except for that movie with that came out last year with like the clones or whatever. I didn't want to see that. That looked awful. I love Keanu, but that was a line I wasn't going to cross. So I didn't go see that. But I want to see Bill and Ted 3. I like the first two. This is leading up to be something fun. And I've been following Bill and Ted 3 for years. So I'm excited to see that it's actually fucking happening. Edgar Wright's next movie, Last Night in Soho, is in post-production and is slated to drop this year potentially. It probably won't be until late this year, but that's fine with me. I love Edgar Wright. I'll see anything he makes. I boycotted Ant-Man for him for a while. So, yeah, I love Edgar Wright. I'm curious to see what that's going to be about. And, yeah. David Fincher's next movie, Mank, is slated to drop this year. It's a biopic about the writer of Citizen Kane getting credits or the rights to his work. I don't remember which it was, but it's got Gary Oldman in it, and it's directed by David Fincher, and that's all I need. I'm already wanting to go see it, you know. Yeah, that'll be interesting, and I think it's interesting that we're getting a movie about Citizen Kane finally. I don't think they've ever made one. And I'm glad it's finally happening. We also got Godzilla vs. Kong potentially coming out this year. I like that concept. They've been kind of building it for a while with Skull Island, you know, all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I'm intrigued to say the least. I want to see Godzilla fight King Kong, even though out of the newest run of Godzilla movies, I have seen a resounding one of them. And of course, if we're gonna talk about any other comic book movies, I'll talk about the Eternals. I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with the Eternals. I don't know much about the Eternals, so I'm curious to see what they're gonna do with it on the big screen. Potentially expanding out more into the cosmos, planting seeds for the next saga of the MCU. It'll be interesting. I'm curious. And Kumail Nanjiani got shredded for that movie, so I'll pay to see him shredded. As far as games are concerned, there's a handful of games that are coming out this year that I haven't played either the original versions of or the first games of, but I'm still excited that they're coming out, like Last of Us 2 and the Final Fantasy VII remake. There's the Mega Man ZX collection, which I played Mega Man Z growing up. Is one of the first Game Boy Advance games I ever played, and I've wanted to play the other Z games, and I'm glad that they're finally making a collection of those games, so I can actually experience the whole Z story as a whole, because I know those games get fucking weird, so I'm excited to see how exactly weird they get, even though I'm probably never going to get the chance to play it, because I don't have a PC. Half-Life is getting a new game. Half-Life Alyx, technically Half-Life 3, is happening. I've heard people call it Half-Life 3, even though it's a side game featuring one of the side characters of that story, of the Half-Life 2 story. But I love that people are taking what they can get with the Half-Life 3, with a third Half-Life game, calling it Half-Life 3. That's funny to me. But as far as games I'm genuinely really excited for, Psychonauts 2 is hopefully gonna happen this year. It's slated to come out this year. I talked about it in my E3 video. I'm excited as fuck for that because I love the first Psychonauts, so here's to hoping. We also have Cyberpunk 2077 coming out this year. Another game that I have been really excited for. I love Cyberpunk. I love what they've shown to the world. I love Keanu Reeves, as I said in the movie section. And so I'm hyped to see how that game turns out. Even though I've only ever played the first of its franchise, I'm actually really excited for Animal Crossing New Horizons. I hope that it's going to be a good game, and it looks like it's building upon a lot of the ideas seen in other Animal Crossing games to make a different, if not similar, experience. And I'm excited to see what they bring forth with that. We also have Doom Eternal slated to drop this year, and y'all know I love, maybe you don't know, I like Doom a lot. I think Doom is a really fun game. Both the 2016 version and most of the games in the franchise. I've been playing a lot of original Doom over the last couple of months, and it's been fun to revisit Doom, and I'm excited for Doom Eternal because it's more of the new Doom. Again, I like Doom 2016 a lot. It's a really fun game, and I know that they delayed this game to make it better, so I'm excited to see just how much better they made it. The combat looks really fast and fluid, judging by the E3 demo, and I think it looks fucking awesome. They're remaking System Shock, apparently. I love BioShock, and I know System Shock was like the Alone in the Dark to that game for what like Alone in the Dark was for Resident Evil. So if they are actually remaking System Shock and it's coming out this year, I'm definitely going to check that out because I've never played System Shock 1 or 2, and I'm curious to see how that would translate in a contemporary setting. Or in a contemporary mindset. I hope that would come together really well. And finally, y'all already know, if the Resident Evil 2 remake was as good as it was, even though they're having a quick turnaround with the third remake, I'm fucking stoked for that game because I love Resident Evil 2, I love the remake, and I never really played much of 3. I've played 3, I've dipped my toes into 3, but it's one of the few Resident Evil games I haven't fully completed. And so I'm curious to see how they reinterpret 3 so quickly. And I'm assuming they're going to borrow a lot of elements from 2, specifically the Mr. X section, because, I mean, it's the section a lot of people really liked from this new Resident Evil 2 game. And basically, they turned Mr. X into Nemesis for a section. So, a whole game of that, I'm ready for that kind of excitement, let me tell you. Because that was some of my favorite moments of last year, playing Run for Mr. X. So I'm curious to see how a whole game of that is going to feel. And I'm hoping it is so very good. But that's it. That's what I'm anticipating. That's what I'm excited for this year with music, movies, and games. What are you excited for? What movies, music, games, or anything else are you excited for this year? Let's talk about that in the comments down below. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this conversation, be sure to give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general nerdery content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons. If you would like to join their ranks, linked in the description is my Patreon. I'm going to go. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, life situations, and I'll see you another day.